Hello, hello. Welcome to the Choral Development stream. Bear with us as this is our one of our very first streams, but a topic I really wanted to talk about for a while, and decided after 4 years, this is the time to talk about it. So I'm here. I'm Nathan, also known as JBobs on Discord and all the other platforms. I founded Supernova, which is now known as Coral, back on May 6th, 2017. And I'm also here to introduce Yesful Man. I'll let him do that.
Hello. Yes, I am lead art. And basically, me and him kind of co-run Coral at this point. So, yeah. We're going to be talking about the history of Coral and Supernova and all that fun stuff today.
We've got a few exclusive things that we want to show off, such as like the old projects and stuff. So like I can actually show some of the content that we were planning and ended up scrapping, along with things like concept art and other pieces of art that we have that is from this. And then also possibly talk about the future as well, some of our plans and Rising Phoenix. I know it's a long time coming, but it's a lot of work. And I hope you all understand. It's going to be awesome. And yeah. So how should we get started?
Well, the first bit starts with you. So jump into Supernova.
Okay.
All started.
All
Although
right.
I do want to give a shout out to the amount of meows in the chat right now.
Yes, that's actually very much appreciated. Also, Kikski in chat says hi, so What's up?
Hello, hi.
Yeah, nice to see you. Nice to see everyone here already. I'm really excited, and I'm also really glad that everyone is here to join. And I know it was a bit of a short notice, but I saw, I saw the opportunity. Also,
Yeah.
hello, Warrior Cat. Shout out to Warrior Cat. He was the very first person who joined the project, ever when I started it, and we'll get around to that. So a little bit of history, for starters, is Supernova started out as just merely an idea that, like, I mean, a lot of people were making, Halo fan games on PC, and I had all these ideas for, like, I wanted to see certain things within a story, within a Halo campaign game. And I kind of merged the idea of what if we made a Halo fan game on PC, because one, Halo wasn't on PC at the time, and two, I wanted to make a Halo game of my own. That I cared more about the fact that I wanted to make a Halo game of my own than and I wanted to tell a story that was new and unique, to the series, but still felt familiar, in terms of, like, gameplay wise and all that. Kind of a mix of just new and old and building off of what was already there. So because of that, I ended up writing up a few mock-ups for another project that I was a part of. It ended up not making it. It was a very small, like, kind of Lego style Halo project. During this time, I was like,
That project.
yes, that's actually the origins of the story. But they wanted to do a Halo CE, but what if we made it like a Lego game? And I was like, no, I want to write my own story. I want to do, I want to go far, I want to go farther and make my own characters and actually make it into something that's new and unique. And I mean, creative differences. So I ended up going off and, researching, okay, how do I make a game? Let's look at the current market. Or not as much market, the landscape. That's a better word. Let's go look at the landscape and see, what are these Halo fan projects doing? And, I ended up joining a few of the communities, and I was really excited for all the projects. I'd been following contingencies since I was like, 12 or something like that. Like, I'd been following a few fan projects for a long time, and, I was researching, okay, what engines did they use? We ended up picking Unity engine at the time, which there's a lot and a long road there with Unity engine. Me and Unity have a love-hate relationship.
I think the whole team does.
but that's the thing. I actually, funny thing, before I went out and founded Supernova today 4 years ago, I actually approached Installation 01 asking, hey, can we make a story for your game? Like, y'all have a game here, you just had the Q&A video come out, and, like, they were doing awesome. They were doing amazing and kicking butt in the fan game scene. And, you got this little 15-year-old, hey, you want to make a story? They declined it, to say the least. And that's when I was like, okay, well, let's just do it ourselves. So that's what brought us to the very, very beginning. I actually was very active in the Installation 01 Discord server back around that time, and I actually had met a few people. And during that time, I invited them to, come join, and we ended up working on, we had a few levels planned out at the very beginning, and we started just aimlessly working on a lot of things. And it was very, very early, and I mean, the game looked literally like Roblox. Like, I'm not even joking. It's very, very humble beginnings, to say the least. I even have some screenshots and stuff of the old versions of Supernova, and it's rough. It's very rough, but it's very humble beginnings, to say the least. You look at Coral now versus Supernova back in the day, and, it's night and day, literally. I'm making a joke because there was a nighttime mission. But literally, that was a very, how do I say it? It was a lot of periods of growth, but not just for the project. It was mostly growth within the team itself, and me learning how to manage a team in the first place. One of the biggest things that I realized was basically, you can't just please everyone when you're coming to when you're working on a project like that. So everyone's gonna have all these creative differences, and one of the biggest lessons I learned was, you kind of have to stick to a vision, and this is one thing that's going to stick throughout the stream and just in general, because that was something we didn't do, and that's why development has taken as long as it has, because scale and vision were two things that fluctuated, and those are the two things that should never fluctuate when you work on a project.
Hey, you're getting ahead of us there, Worry Cat.
Yes,
we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
That is a thing. That was a thing. We had a guy. Our only map designer at the time made maps in Roblox Studio, and then we exported them as OBJ and threw them into Unity. That was our literal workflow, and things looked bad. I even have one of the Roblox levels here.
Play-Doh.
Yes, if you look here real quick, in my Supernova folder, you can see Beetle Valley Roblox level. Oh, I forgot to remove... Man, I'm new to this streaming thing. I forgot to remove the starting soon.
Oh,
pardon my dust.
I've been watching it this whole time, and I didn't even
But yeah, it's there. It started off. Funny thing, this is actually something that Warrior Cat had actually worked on. This was like one of the models, and that was kind of our quality standard. Like, this was our quality standard right here. And you look at it, it's like not that bad or whatever, but it's very novice, and not to discredit him, but hey, we all start somewhere. The game
was well, to be fair, at that time everybody was a novice or beginner, and he was one of our best modelers at the time.
That's a good point. That is a very good point. And there was a lot of mistakes that I kind of want to go over and explain to people, because that's that's how any of us grow, I guess. And so I guess one of the things that one of the things that was really, really poor about our management was communication between team members. And it was because at the time, like, we didn't really know, like, okay, well, we need to stay organized or whatever. Well, we didn't really do that. We had like maybe at one Trello board, and it didn't really do much. It was just for like the story thing. We had people join that had malintent for other projects, and like kind of fed the team lies in terms of stuff like it was kind of dramatic, but I won't really get into the drama side of things because
that part was before me, right? That was before I even joined.
Yes, that was before you joined. That was like a week and a half or something like that before you joined.
Yeah, because I remember when I was coming in, that seemed like it was still a fresh wound.
Yeah, literally it was like, I think you joined on like June 2nd, 2017. So you joined like a few days before, a month after the project started. So
close. Almost.
Funny thing, this guy right here, get a load of this dude. I remember my very first Discord call with him. I was running around on one of the Roblox maps, testing, like seeing the layout of it. It was modeled after Infinity, that map from Halo C. I think it was from CE on PC, one of the Gearbox maps. But I remember him being like, yeah, don't give me a lead position or anything. I think I'm only going to help out for like 2 weeks or such. I've got my own thing I'm doing.
And I got wrapped in.
4 years later, and I'm still able to convince him. So, yeah. Where else should I go with this?
Yeah, I remember. Since we're getting closer to where I know when we first came in, there was two things that I kind of noticed immediately that we've been working on slowly, which is what he mentioned about like the communication with the team. Like, he had leadership structure then, but the way leadership structure was working, it didn't work. It didn't work very well. So that's been something we've been working on for a while. It's not just improving our communication, but trying to have a proper management backend. Oh, there's the old
Yep.
Yeah, the oh god, okay, I didn't really. I remember them being a lot smoother than that, but yeah, they're not. They're just. They're really. They're not.
Look at these screenshots.
Oh yeah, see there they are. Okay, yeah, it just looked like it just looks like Play-Doh.
This is what our video game looked like in May of 2017.
And that assault rifle, it
Yep.
hurt. It hurt me then. It still hurts me now.
So what were you saying?
uh,
I'm just gonna show the stream
um,
some of these screenshots.
I don't know, I got sidetracked. Well, I was just talking about that, which we'll get more into the what we're doing now with management and stuff. Because that's still actually in the works. We're still improving that. It's a constant, ongoing improvement because we just want to be we want to be as organized and as well managed as we can possibly be. Because that's the forefront of getting things moving. Otherwise, things are just made randomly or not set to any standard. Like back then, there was kind of a rough standard, but we didn't take into account things like poly counts and texel densities and all these things that start to get to like more of an advanced terminology for some people even in the modeling space, like texel density. So a lot of people don't even know what that is. It's basically just the to make it simple, it's just the consistency of the texture sizes. It's not just that, but that's just to make it simple. Um, yeah, that's all stuff that we've been improving now. But because of that, we have models that look like that assault rifle, like our
And then
sniper that's old, and then we'd have some models that were like a lot cleaner, like warrior cats. I'm sure you could do better now, but like they still look okay. Like if you threw a texture on that, you could probably throw it in like Halo 3 or Reach, and it'd probably look all right. Um,
hold on, I
and
have an image
but then
of
like you look
the.
at our sniper, and our sniper was clearly just like a bunch of cylinders stacked on each other and stuff like that. And to be fair, that was made by Pajama Boy, right?
Yes, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
Pajama Boy. Oh, his work got so much better. Like he's made he's just an update actually on the assault rifle he was originally doing. Um, Although sadly, I don't know what's going to happen because we're in the talks of some art style stuff, but we'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah, I actually have pictures of that original sniper rifle right here if you want to see. So this is a really low res image. Why is that
Yeah.
so low res? Those are really, really low res. Here it is
I
in
don't know if I
game.
have the-
This game
Yeah,
looks like it was straight out of the 90s.
jeez, it did.
Yeah, there was some really, really rough models. I mean, but the thing is, one thing I really miss about the Supernova team was how creative we got with our ideas. Even if the ideas didn't necessarily make it to like their like to the actual like if they didn't make it to the actual model phase, or even if they didn't really make sense, I still liked the creativity that came out of the team. Like, for instance, look at this. You probably remember this thing. I know this thing is like kind of
I vaguely remember
odd,
it.
but like what's so cool about it is just it looks so original, and it's originality that you don't really see
It
in
looked
much
like a
of.
snub-nosed assault rifle.
I mean, that's true. We also
It's not
we
bad.
also had
It's
like a
kind of
redesigned
interesting.
Hydra.
I
I
like.
mean,
I actually wouldn't mind seeing an updated concept of that one.
yeah. So like there was a
Because
ton
that
of
could
cool
actually be kind of a
ideas.
cool idea.
I mean, look at
Like,
this. The needle
oh, yeah,
cutlass.
I remember that. You know,
Like we had
it
so
doesn't
many
make
different
sense
things.
to have a needle cutlass, but
Well, so
I
you can
forgot
stab
about that.
someone and then it super combines.
Well, well, how would that
It
work?
would be for a jackal. Well, when you
It
when
does
you
look cool. I would almost say it'd be better set to make it like just an energy cutlass. It could be purple energy,
yeah, I mean
but
that's true.
that's all stuff we can kind of get into though a little bit later. Because like actually, I forgot about some of those. And the needle cutlass, that I wouldn't mind reviving that, not necessarily as the needle cutlass, because I don't think that makes sense even lore wise. But like we could probably come up with some excuse for that to exist. That's
But
the other thing too that's changed a lot more. We're trying to be a lot more lore friendly now than we were back then. Where before it was uh, like we were either just trying to straight up match like the Halo 3 and 2's aesthetic, aka like that pistol. I did a little bit of my own design, and then of course the colors had to be those colors because of the team we were going to do.
yeah, so all the
This one,
weapons were laid out in this like black and yellow, like we,
yeah,
we kind of had this aesthetic going. You can even see it in like the sniper rifle. Sorry for
yeah.
such the small image, but this tiny
What?
image. But these are the only images I have in this folder. Funny thing, we still use that sniper to this day for testing.
Yeah, yeah. We haven't.
While we look for well, we have a new concept for it. It just needs to be
Yeah,
modeled.
Yeah, the
Hmm.
pistol was made by me a while back. Its textures need to be fixed, but if I'm going to fix the textures, I'm going to just redo the whole pistol anyway. It's kind of been my white whale in the project, and now I could totally make a better one, but I just haven't had the time because we've been doing so much of the management stuff. I have made very little art in the recent times.
Yeah. I mean, if you
For
looked
the
at this,
tutorial.
people would be like, yeah, that's the Halo 3 Magnum. And that was kind of our
Yeah,
aesthetic that we were going for originally
exactly.
because we wanted, like, when you're first starting, you're like, okay, well, I want my game to look like this game. It's like, you got to realize, like, oh, you know, nowadays, at least for me, I'm like, I kind of moved on past that because I know a lot of people that are like, I want this new game to look like this game. And it's like, well, you're not original then. And that's what a
Yeah.
lot of people, especially on the project, didn't understand. And not that you can't make. The thing is, I think a lot of people don't realize that you can make original content that looks familiar to old content. So you don't need to make the new content look like the old content. You need to make the new content have like bring over like certain elements of the old content that makes it recognizable, but still
Yeah.
make your own
So
thing. So you're
the
not
cool one of the
mimicking.
cool things too about being in a fan game. Now, we're where we're at now, we're trying to be a little bit more strict. We kind of set a box for ourselves, which I can explain in a little bit. But if you're doing a fan game, the sky's kind of the limit. You want to be like you want to match an art style, you can do that. Yeah, you might not stand out, but you can do that. You want to try to do like a hybrid or something else, you could do that. You want to do just come something that almost just looks like it's Halo inspired, but it just looks crazy and out of the box. You can do that too because it's a fan game. You can do whatever. People are going to hate and love your product no matter what. That's just a part of doing
That's
art
one
in
lesson we
general.
learned.
Yeah, there's always going to be naysayers. There's always going to be people who are like, there's always going to be haters and like whatever the opposite of a hater is. But
A
they're going to
lover,
just what?
a lover,
I guess so.
a
Yeah,
simp.
yeah. There'll always be simps of but
There's some early
so
stuff.
but at that where I've lost my train of thought. I got on that tangent and I don't remember where I was.
He's an early firebomb. I'm just looking through
Oh
all the
yeah,
old images.
I remember that.
So yeah, like
Big.
we realized, we wanted to be set on Beta Halo. We started to formulate after a few months. We started to formulate kind of our idea of where we wanted the game to take place, what story we wanted to tell. There were a few moments from the original story that I had written for that other project that I wanted to keep, and it ended up staying for quite a while actually. And in fact, a lot of the team members that we are writing right now actually mimic slash reflect those original team members. I think those are one of the only things that have stayed over from that original story. Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah. What were you gonna say?
Hold on. Actually, I think.
Okay. But yeah, like we really dug into that like beta Halo aesthetic, and we started finding some people that had some talent. We have some concept art. Um, we had, I mean, we had a little bit of everything except for like programmers. I mean, we had Wesley. He was like the only guy, but like he would stay on for a month and then leave, and it kind of it was kind of a messy state, a messy beginning.
Yeah.
So,
Like
hmm?
I'm back. By
Okay,
the way.
welcome back.
Seeing that again though. Like it's interesting because you can see how inconsistent. Like we got a lot of art pumped out, but it was inconsistent. Like we got concepts like that, and then we had like the sniper rifle, and we have levels that look like that.
Speaking of
And it's
this
just this
exact
like
level, I actually have the Unity project for this exact one pulled up, and I can show it
I
off.
don't. If memory serves, that one didn't actually look that bad when you're on it. It just doesn't look that great up front.
Yeah, so if I
And it
pull
was
this up
still
right
that one
here.
was a much better block out. I think this is a little bit more when I was getting more involved, right? I
Yeah,
think when the game came out.
so let me go up here real
It,
quick, and I'll
it
show you.
kind of all blended together in my head, so it's hard to remember
So you can
time
see,
wise.
it's kind of unfinished, but like, I mean, of course it
Kind of.
is. It's a very unfinished, but hey, it's at least a level. This was kind of a proof
Yeah.
of concept that like, hey, we can make a Halo level. You press the button. There was supposed to be a light bridge that it turns on, and you go. You see the tanks go across there. Like we had ideas. There was supposed to be a bridge here, and we were basically going to the map room of installation Was
Yeah.
Beta Halo 01? I think it was 01.
I don't really remember because at during this time I was still just kind of modeling whatever, and then like I wasn't paying attention to anything except for like the 3D art basically.
Yeah.
And then
Oh god,
I
you
didn't
made
care
those
about the
bugs.
story. I just wanted an excuse to make art and Halo art, and that was basically
Look at that
what
Unity
I was doing.
lighting.
I know it's so great, broken for no reason.
So we had vision. That was one thing I will say. We had vision. Whether it was consistent, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But you can definitely see that like
Yeah.
we had enough of a team to be able to make something like this. I had even had like a little mini cutscene that plays, and yeah, it was pretty cool. Oh, someone has just asked a question in chat. I have a question. What are you guys' plans to stand out since Halo Infinite and other fan games like Project Contingency, Installation 01 are coming out soon? No offense. Oh, no,
So,
none taken.
um, yeah, actually, okay. So as far as standing out, which we can talk about our art style. That'll kind of come up a bit during the change here. We can say like what we're doing art style wise and what we're trying to hit with that mark. But when it comes to what we're doing, so Installation 01 and Project Contingency are multiplayer experiences. Whether or not they're going to be great or good or compete with MCC, who knows, right? I hope they're good, and I hope they do because like BA fan games. For us, where we stand out is going to be the fact that we're doing a campaign, and we're going to eventually actually try to get a full fledged like game, like a whole experience, and it'll reflect a little bit more of classic Halo, with the way it's going to play and everything.
To an
So
extent.
to an
I
extent,
say
we're yeah.
that. I say that because we have a lot of plans right now. I'm not gonna say too much,
Mhm.
but there are some things that might make us stand out a lot, especially in the
Yes.
multiplayer space. Some of the
Hmm.
things that
Hmm.
that were
Yeah,
originally planned that we had to cut due to like the fact that we were using Unity. We're like, okay, this is gonna take a long time.
yeah.
And now with the fact
There's
that
a
we're
lot
working in
of
Unreal Engine, it's gonna make a lot of things a lot easier.
yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of things in the horizon that we're kind of ironing out in the back end right now that we can't just talk about yet. We're gonna have to talk about it in like the next video or two
Yeah.
when we finally get that stuff kind of
It's
organized.
it's
So
complex. It's
yeah,
complex. I will say that to say the least.
yeah.
But the project's doing better than it ever has right
Oh,
at this moment. It is
I'm
so
so
I'm
exciting.
yes, I'm ecstatic from the amount of all of just like the amount of progress that's being made at the moment. I mean, last week people have had finals. I understand progress kind of like, died down just a little bit, but it's okay because all of the stuff that we're setting up right at this moment is like it's gonna shoot the progress so far forward so easily
Yeah,
too, and like especially because all the settings or all the stuff that we're setting up makes it easier for us to bring new people in, have them work on whatever they want to, that's available. Everything's organized, everyone's communicating. Our management backend right now is we're working on it a lot. This is something we've been doing so like we've been
yeah.
working so hard
That's
on
been our
this.
that's been the biggest overall change is just us trying to get like figure out project management, figure out how to get teams going, and like we're finally at a point now where we get it. We got the software working. We got everything we need to kind of start getting moving. It's just a matter of getting it moving. And yeah, so that's what we're doing now, and things are going well.
Yeah, definitely. It's awesome because with the amount of people that we have now, which I'll explain why in the next little thingy, like what we're saying later, um, it's going to make progress so much
Mhm.
easier, and our gameplay is going to be. So we're doing some expansions on the original Halo gameplay without like ruining
Yeah,
or changing the original like style that like so the very very basic core of combat is going to be the same, but the way that you approach it and the amount of like options you have are going to be greater. And I'll explain that more in one of our Rising Phoenix videos that we're going to be having real
yeah.
soon. It's going to
A
be
lot of stuff happened where we are sorry about the delay on the Rising Phoenix. We've had quite a bit of things happen all at once and still kind of are, like finals, for example. And that's kind of put us on a slowdown. So it will happen. It's just taking us a little bit longer than we initially planned.
Yeah, and it's okay. We're still working at it, you know. It's
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that we've been working on just overall in
Yeah.
the past month, and the amount of
Who
progress that's
worked
been.
on this level?
Noah.
No, yeah.
So this is
Man,
a Forerunner version of Crater that we worked on.
I forgot. Did I make those pillars and stuff, or was that Noah?
No, he made all of this, and then you were gonna
You
recreate
know?
parts and then make it so you could build it.
Yeah, I was gonna try to make it modular.
I mean, it already
Modular.
is, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
I think yeah, no, I had to clean it up.
Yeah, that's what it
And it was
was.
so much work to clean up because he didn't do it very cleanly.
Yeah. So
Again, early development stuff.
in
But
fact, I think I have. Let me go over here. I need to enable all
yeah,
of this stuff, but I can show you.
there was so much geometry.
Look at this
Yeah,
geometry. Flat plane has like all of these little squares, and it's gross.
yeah,
The entire map is like
yeah.
that. Like,
So it's not
look
a
at
good
this.
performing map, and it's yeah, and it's
So
nothing against Noah. Noah clearly has like a good idea, eye for design. It was just everything he made was so heavy in geometry for some reason, at least map wise.
yeah, and for the, are you talking about? So AS said, can you still fall out of the map? Well, I mean, in any game, you could pretty much fall out of the map.
Yeah.
If you're also talking about the bug, which one of the reasons we had also switched away from Unity originally was there was this bug where you, no matter what, you could jump up walls. And it really, really sucked because you just couldn't do anything about it. You know, we tried like six? We tried for like a month and a half to try to just fix it, and we ended up coming up with this crappy like sliding solution, and it was not that great, and the team wasn't happy about it. The feedback that we got on just how the game felt in terms of gameplay just wasn't fun.
Yeah.
And that was one of the reasons why we actually had switched to Unreal Engine back in 2018, which there's a whole long story on that I'll hopefully cover at least a little bit of that today.
Yeah.
But yes, there's a lot of
That
content
actually
from this.
when we get if we get to that today, that point when we did that 2018 was probably the biggest turning point for the project since basically now.
Like right now is probably the biggest point of change aside from that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because at that point that was when leadership and management, like that's when I think I actually officially started to become a part of the leadership team. Like I was obviously up there at that point because I was always I got more and more involved, but then I think it was around that time when I actually became lead art or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't remember exactly. It was, but yeah.
I'm gonna have to turn down this. It's gonna load up and it's gonna blast in my ears.
Oh no. Oh no.
There we go. So yeah, the game is broken, but this version's broken. I didn't feel like fixing it.
Yeah, that map wasn't
to
actually that bad.
Yeah, like you have to realize that these were like people that never made a game before, and we were able to make like new unique levels that had, this was supposed to go off in this other direction over here. And you can see that like there isn't really anything here. It's just a large plane. And we were going to build a whole second part of this mission. But this was originally going to be one of our flood mode maps. And you can see, if I do like an eagle eye view here, I'll do this isometric and throw it back up like that. So if you do this, you can see kind of how it goes around here. And we wanted our maps to kind of follow something like the Call of Duty, the zombies maps, where it would be like a big circle, like this convoluted circle with all these like, different pathways. So you can kind of see that we had our starting area, and we wanted to have it like, so you had right here, you maybe had over on the left, there's all sorts of areas that we wanted to experiment with, but we never ended up getting around to it because the game just wasn't playable. We kind of scrapped all of this when we realized that, hey, Unreal Engine is a better option. We actually had someone come onto the team and like tell us, hey, look at this engine, look at all this stuff here, look at all these fancy features. And without hesitation, I kind of just said, okay, Not thinking about
Yeah.
all the code that we had already written or all of the content that we couldn't bring over because it was in Unity. And while
The
there
fact that
are tools
Unreal is in a
now,
completely different, not completely different, but in C++ versus C Sharp,
yes.
and then
So I didn't know what I
blueprints and
was
all that other
doing.
stuff.
I didn't know what I was doing in Unreal Engine. A lot of people, everyone on the project basically didn't know what they were doing in UE4 originally, and that caused the project to like basically halt for 3 months,
Mhm.
which was detrimental to everyone's
Yeah.
basically
The game
everyone's
the game
morale.
looked its prettiest, but
It
that
looked
was
prettier
about
than
it.
it did before. I will give it
Yeah.
that, but it's
I mean, at the
still
time, it looked prettier, but like it we couldn't get to the same level we were at then. I mean, to be fair, maybe if we stuck with it, but we decided to go back and just upgrade Unity at that point, right?
yes. So
Because we
this
said
is this is Supernova. And we around this time we started writing a new story or whatever, and one of the missions actually took place on Coral. And this was by it wasn't by chance, I guess. It was more of a like this guy, I think it was Noah, came in and was, writing our story, and he wanted to bring in all of these characters. He wanted to bring in like Joel Madama. He wanted to bring in like,
I thought it was somebody else. Was it Noah?
yeah, Noah's the one who said, yeah, the first mission is the downfall of Coral. Then you go over to into Beta Halo and you do the rest of the story there. And we said, well, Beta Halo is already taken up because it's literally installation 01. So, we already have a game taking place on there. Why don't we tell the story of Coral? Like, Coral just seemed like a lot more of a, like, it made a lot more sense to tell Coral's story than to tell a story of a project or not a project. Why is my brain forgetting the word? Of that place that's already kind of being taken up by another project, because a lot of people saw Beta Halo and they're like, oh, are you ripping off IO1? And we're like, no, we just wanted to tell a story, And we realized that a lot of the story points that we wanted to tell just couldn't be done. I mean, having a big machine on top of a Halo, like in the middle of a Halo ring, that was the Covenant. And that, flying into the sun and causing a supernova was pretty ambitious for some fans that didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
So
to be fair, our project's still pretty ambitious, but it's ambitious in a different way.
Yeah.
And also the cool thing about hey, look, there's a sword. And also the thing about I remember that little room. Oh yeah, I forgot we actually got the dissolve to work.
Yeah, it works in the Unity version too.
Oh, okay.
I never hooked it up. That's why I never hooked up to the animations.
Yeah. But where was I going? Oh yeah. The cool thing about doing it in Coral is Coral like clearly is referenced enough that it's not like just a nothing planet. Like Bungie and probably 343 have like an archive or something clearly planned out for Coral. Because like it's been mentioned enough, and they have a beginning and end, at least.
Yeah. There's a mining operation, and it ends up like at the very end. Is like it's reported glass by the Covenant by the time I think Halo CE rolls around.
Yeah.
So there's that, and also like in the Halo 2 limited edition, I think it was the Conversations from the Universe book. There's a whole thing about this guy who's on Coral writing about the mining operation. It's like this entire note. And there's also references like Dutch was took place. He was there on the events or during the events of Coral. I think it was just in the asteroid belt that surrounds Coral. And there was also even a few lines. I think it was Sergeant Reynolds in Halo 3, the guy who is voiced by Nathan Fillion. He's like, "Did you leave your manners back on Coral?" or something like that. You must have left your manners back on Coral.
Yeah, and it was something like that.
Yeah, it's small, but like clearly Coral was a known planet within even just like within the Bungie era stuff, and so because of that, we wanted to tell the story.
Yeah.
So
that's what we're doing.
Yeah. Also, we have another question: is there going to be firefight, weekly challenges, more single player modes? Since I think you guys have a lot of competition when it comes to the multiplayer aspect. So
as far as things like weekly challenges, we haven't talked about that. That might be too much to undergo because that means we have to like upkeep the game a lot afterwards. It's not saying we won't upkeep, but like we probably won't do that. I'm not going to say no, but it's a probably not. As far as everything else, we plan to have, yeah,
Yeah,
basically all that.
firefight and more single player modes. So with the single player stuff, we have the main story stuff, and our firefight and our flood mode are going to kind of tap into our story a little bit. Same thing with multiplayer, and we're gonna leave a lot of open ends for people to kind of tell their own story, not in a way of like Forge or whatever, but like the almost like a lone wolf style thing. If you remember Lone Wolf from Halo Reach, where it was kind of just this open-ended mission, like either you survive for a very long time or you just don't survive, and the story is there were so many that bombarded you at the very beginning that now it's dead. Now you're dead and it's over. Where for someone else that story could be Noble Six literally hid out forever, and now, oh well, I guess he's hiding in a cave or whatever. Like, it's kind of headcanon at that point, and we want to make it fun more than anything. So that's why we are, making those separate modes kind of loosely based off of off the locations in the story. We might even experiment with some of the other areas, some of the places that our team, the Spartan team, were before Coral. So, like, we can kind of dig into their history a little bit and find some areas that would be fun to make some playable areas in, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there's that. There's also like for weekly challenges and stuff. I know that Yeswell was saying, probably not. It's just a matter of figuring out, like, you have to set a ton of conditions, and we would have to write a whole system behind that. And I'm sure that we could do that. It's not a can we do it. It's a do, in our time frame and everything. And with the amount of work that we already have to do, is it going to be feasible? I don't know.
Yeah. Because like after we're done with this, we do want to start to move on to other endeavors that aren't fan projects. So
fan projects have taken up too much of our time. I will say that, and I want to get this done and let people play this. This is the Unity or the Unreal Engine right here. This is not the new Coral. This is a Supernova. So this was back in the day. Yeah. This was our old project. I'm actually loading up another one.
Again. Yeah, this is before we switched over back to Unreal the second time.
Yeah, I know it sounds kind of confusing because it's like, all right, well, y'all keep switching engines, but like, I kind of have a reason.
So here's something based off of our experience. So with the fan game, you go in, and this is kind of with any large scale project. If you've not done something like this before or joined a team that had their shit together, when you kind of initially start something. It seems like it's easy. Like, how many times have you gone and been like, oh yeah, you can clearly do this, and you go look at videos and you're like, oh, that looks easy, and then you start it and you're like, oh, this is a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. It seems so easy. That's kind of how it works with like games and stuff, right? You go in, you're like, I can make 3D models. Okay, cool, I could do it. And you're like, oh, there's a lot more to this. There's a lot more to do.
It's more than 3D geometry.
There's more work, and then like we had to figure out what was right, what was best. We realized we're running into a lot of problems with like Unity. So like, well, how do we solve this? So we tried switching to Unreal. Then we ran into problems with Unreal, and so it was just like a lot of back and forth in the beginning because we were just trying to figure out the right.
We're trying to find our identity.
We were on the right path, and then we're like, nah, that wasn't it. And then we kind of like now we're going back into Unreal. We're going back because we actually know what we're doing more or less now. We're not like experts, but we know what we're doing enough to actually be able to work with Unreal and get past the problems we had then. Because the problems we're running into Unity, it like in first glance it's easy to develop in, but then it becomes harder and harder because there's always some type of issue that comes up that's like, you got to fix this, you got to fix that. It gets frustrating after a while. Where Unreal, you're a little bit stuck in a box, but for a shooter, that's what Unreal was designed for. So there's no reason we can't make a good shooter in Unreal. And
by the way, watch this. I actually fixed a cutscene before the stream. It was something I was working on and never finished because I didn't know how to get a cutscene working in Unity. It's so stupid, but like it works now, and then it completely breaks the game. Yeah.
It's like beyond deep, right, dude?
It's a supernova. See? It's
Oh
the
yeah, it's a
game.
super.
It's
It's
the
a
game.
supernova.
The end.
Uh,
The end. But no, yeah, that was actually something I worked on. I never knew how to get it working, so I just never messed with it after that. Um, but yeah, there was a lot of things that we didn't know and that we were learning within like UE4 during that time. And then we realized, hey, why don't we just switch back to Unity? Wesley said, hey, I'm not going to work on the UE4 version of the project, but if we switch back to Unity, I'll join back on the project, and we can get things working. And that's what started. Well, I actually got a little bit or mixed up because we switched back to Unity before he came back onto the project. I think it was when someone else left, one of the leads left the project. We decided to switch back to Unity. We had this small period of time where we were using the old Supernova code. So this code here, not this exact project. I had made a copy of it, which I can actually load that up right
yeah,
now.
this was the first. Now when we did this transition, that was the first like rename, right?
No, the rename happened before we switch, or like right after we switched to UB4. That's when we
Okay.
realized,
'Cause-
hey, we are now Coral, and
yeah,
this was around like a year into the project because we
when
wanted
we did
to
that,
represent.
so
Hmm?
yeah, okay. So one thing that also happened during this time, which is part of the reason we haven't talked a lot about the story, and we're kind of being more open about it now, is because we actually, during this point, if I remember correctly, if it's not this point, it's somewhere a little bit after, when we decided that shift over to just doing it on Coral, we had a whole new person writing the story, and at this time we just had one person kind of sit and do it on his own, and we were just going to approve it after. Um, and so he was working on that story being just set on Coral now. So we also had to do we're going through a major change there from the original kind of story vision of the game. But like he said, the team and the characters stayed largely the same or very similar to. Um, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it was a lot of back and forth with the story after I kind of took my hands out of it because I realized, hey, I'm not a great story writer. I'm not like story writing is not my thing. I was the guy who worked with computers for most of my life. Stories weren't like necessarily my thing, and I wanted to. I liked the idea of the characters. I liked, I wanted them to have this really like badass story, and I wanted it to be tragic in a way. I wanted all the things that make a good story, but I just didn't know how to put it together, and so I left it to other people to do it, which I don't know if that was a good option or not. In fact,
So
like,
I think the problem with that time wasn't as much having other people do it as the fact that we had one person kind of working on the team or working on the story. Now, so what we're doing differently now as we went through another story change. So right now we're finally like we kind of had a more solid like that story that he did was actually kind of a large part of the foundation of what we're at now. Um, a lot of what he did is gone, so it's still mostly our own with the team that I've kind of put together after. Because like when he gave us a story, we're like, okay, there's a lot of problems with this, and he didn't like that, and so we had some creative differences on that, and then he kind of said, I'm done with the story. And so I
kind of
was like,
said, I'm
okay,
done with
well
the project.
now I realized that like I can't just let one person work on the story. I have to build a team for this, so we can weed out bad ideas before they get integrated into the story. And I make it clear, I'm not saying anything against him. It just didn't match what we were the type of tone and story we wanted to really tell, because we knew that, and yeah, so we have a team now. We've been finally getting like some really good traction on it. We're able again having a team means you can hear the input from everybody. So when you present a bad idea, people can be like, "No, that's stupid," or "That doesn't fit the lore," or "That doesn't make any sense in any case," you know. Um, and yeah, so I don't have anything else to add to that. We're just it's actually finally at the best place it's ever been, like most things in this project. Um, a lot of current the reason it seems like Coral hasn't made a lot of movement is because a lot of the movement we've made was fixing our past mistakes. If you've noticed so far, you've seen like inconsistencies in models. You've seen us go flip flop between things, both like art style. Like if you look at that battle rifle compared to the pistol that he just had, looks like one the battle rifle almost looks like somewhere between 4 and Reach, where the pistol looks like Halo 3 almost, right? So like you can see where we kept flip flopping. We didn't have a full solid thing. Like every time we did, we would change over to something because we are kind of just going with the motions. Where
We were being a
that kind of
reactive
hurt
team
us.
instead of telling people what
Yeah,
to do. People wanted to work on it.
exactly.
They made their vision of the game, and then we had all this, mismatch stuff. And that's when we realized, like, hey, we have to we actually
Rein
have to,
everything in,
yeah, and we need to
which
tell people like, hey, this is our style and this is what we need from it. And not
yeah,
that we don't want people to have any creative liberty at all. We do try to keep creative liberty, we value people's ideas and stuff. But now it's everything has to be vetted in terms of
yeah,
the consistency of the art, because that's what happens on a real team,
yeah.
So
So yeah, and so that's been a process because not only do we have to learn the things we need to manage a team and do all that fun stuff, but we have to also make sure we have the right systems, which are still being implemented. Again, we're basically like, if we were to start over, we would be starting with all the things we've been doing right now. So in some ways, we're almost starting from fresh. In a lot of ways, we're not. We're kind of in this weird nebulous spot because we didn't start right from the beginning. So if there's one takeaway you can get from any of this, make sure you plan out and organize before you even start. Because if not, you'll be playing it with emotions and going with the flow, and the next thing you know, you're lost in chaos.
yeah, look at these bad
And
enemies.
they're great. What you talking about? To answer your question, Apex, no, this game will not be sold on Steam because we cannot sell this game because the Halo IP is Microsoft's. We are not affiliated with Microsoft.
Oh yeah, let me go through chat real quickly. I know there was a few questions I wanted to address. So, um, let's see, was blah blah blah. Which Halo game are you leaning towards this game to
I guess now's a good
resemble?
time to talk about it since we've been
Yeah.
talking about. So, because of one of our team members, so the team was largely a fan of Bungie era Halo, mostly like 1 through 3. A few liked Reach, and then we had one person who was really kind of high level in the social slash leadership hierarchy internally in the server, who really loved Halo 4, um, and 4 and 5. So we kind of always had like this constant battle between those art styles. So what I kind of just eventually said is, why don't we just kind of find that happy middle ground, mainly between 3 and Reach, with a little bit of a sprinkle from like 343 stuff. So kind of a lot like what you see with the battle rifle and AR. Which is largely why I did it, because he had such a push for it, and I kind of like the direction. Some of these things are still kind of in the works of being slightly tweaked, but very close to what you see with, again, the battle rifle and the AR. And this version is the old assault rifle. He's got the updated one, which we'll show soon.
Yeah, this is not even hitting Coral Rework. So Coral
Yeah,
Rework was like an entire over a year of us working on this new code base that completely was a rewrite. So what you're seeing right here is actually based off of that old Coral, or not the old Coral, the old Supernova code. It's basically, Supernova plus plus, I guess. It has, you can see that like the game runs a lot better. There's actually a working like firefight mode and stuff. You can see like wave and all that, and like we had like actual stuff within this. The issue with this though is that it actually had some really it was really rough in terms of the code, and the like jumping up a wall, which I can actually probably do right here. I have to find, actually I think you can do it on another level. Let me load up the main menu real quickly, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So let me go to the main menu, if it'll load. There we go. Yep, there we go. Now this is a screen that y'all might recognize if you've been around Coral for a while. This is the version that we ended up releasing as the April Fool's joke, where it was like, all right, public Coral test is out. and it was this main menu, but you try to click select here to begin and it doesn't do anything. So yeah, this is what it actually was supposed to look like.
Yeah.
So we had some extra things here. Like menu was, I worked on the UI design. It's very reminiscent of the original, like the
Halo
Reach in
3.
Halo 3. It's kind of like a
Yeah.
mix. And you can see like, some of the features worked, and like we actually had like different cameras and all of that stuff there. And it was kind of cool, not gonna lie. Some of this was kind of cool, but like, then I just realized that like, hey, maybe I should rather work like I should rather work on the game, or I should work on the game instead of spending so much time on like perfecting the menu design, because the menu design is great and all, but the game needs working on. And that's when we started working. That plus Wesley coming back and saying, hey, I'm gonna rewrite the entire game so it runs better, and it's not this crappy mess of like, right now I'm getting like it's struggling to hit 60 FPS right now at 1080p on this menu.
Yeah.
It was really bad. I think this is before I threw in the dancing Spartan into this version. I also had,
Yeah,
like, a
there was
loading
a point
screen.
there where it was a lot more memes and a lot less work.
Yeah, but now the memes turn into real work.
Yeah, the memes are usually because we're doing something, and they're a sprout of something we're working on, instead of just being the thing we're doing because we're a little in this nebulous spot of work and somewhere between burnt out and not.
Yeah. So what you're seeing right now is just you probably remember it from a really, really old Supernova video, but it was a loading screen that I had designed. I know it's kind of random, but like I wanted to have this cool loading screen, and I used the particle system and the little base that we had, and made this like kind of
You
thing.
know, I kind of like it. It's like a mix of like Skyrim and Halo,
It reminds
like Halo
me,
3.
yeah, it was kind of supposed to be like Halo 3's like little thingy where like it
Yeah,
like creates the thingy, but like I didn't know how to do the creation thingy, and I don't know. I think the spinning is kind of
I,
cool. So
I kind of like this because it's like you get to see objects. I think we should actually maybe bring this back over to
I
our
would be
loading
completely
screens.
I would be completely fine
Yeah,
with doing that.
I actually like that because again,
Yeah,
it's like that Skyrim thing where you get to see the thing, but it's still kind of like that Halo thing where it's like a weird hologram thing. You
yeah,
can maybe have it built together. Maybe it could be like how far it's loaded. It can gather
like
more
Halo
together as a
3.
thing. Yeah. Actually, good point. Yes, exactly like Halo 3, or like all of
We
the
could.
Halos really, because they all kind of
That's
did
true.
something like that.
So Ezra
Yeah.
says you guys better hide the dancing Spartan in the background during the final release. Good news, yes. There is going to be a dancing Spartan in the release. I will not let that go undone, unreleased, whatever. We also had like a little
Yes.
stupid in-game console that showed up, or whatever. Let's see if it shows up now. I don't know. I'm getting really bad frame rate on this version of the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, this version was kind of, it was just built off of the old
Hey,
Supernova
give me one
code.
second. I'll be right back. Sorry.
Okay, so I'll take it over for a minute. Um, oh, I will show this. We had a few other campaign missions planned. Um, this one was called, I think, yeah, Mining Site. So this was supposed to be this mission where, like, I mean, look at that lighting. That was actually pretty good for Unity. But these were supposed to be trees, and you can see in the distance over there. So like you're going through the forest or whatever, and this is kind of where like you have your little tutorial thing. So like down here, I'll save you all the stress of me walking there. I'll just show you in the editor. So you can see here, jump tutorial, whatever, fallen tree, and then over here was supposed to be Coral City in the background. So you see like you get that small to big, in terms of the whatchamacallit. But you can see we never modeled that. We had this layout of like this encounter with it's kind of really big. In fact, I think it was a little too big, but like we were going to have some like normal Covenant encounters here, and then you end up going in here, dropping down, and you got these rocks here or whatever, and you end up going through this entire like part. There was kind of like this little like puzzle area too. We kind of wanted to integrate something like that into it, and then you lead to the end part where this is the mining site. So it's a very, very rough block out, but like it kind of got the point across that we wanted. and we didn't end up fully using this. It never made it past this version of Coral, but yeah, it's a pretty, it's kind of a nostalgic piece, even if it's very rough, because it shows a point in time where we actually started coming back together and working on like missions and stuff together. You ask, let's see, is there going to be support for DLSS? That's completely up to Unreal Engine, so it's completely up to Epic Games to support DLSS in the game, either DLSS or Fidelity FX.
Any of that new sorry, I am back. Any of that new technology like that will definitely be more so up to being native support in Unreal, because it's going to be a lot of work for us to figure out and implement in our first
We're not doing it ourselves. We're letting Epic Games with the big Fortnite money to do it. Yeah, we're going to let them do it. So since DLSS is out as a plugin, since you said that, I will actually, I'll try that out actually. I'll download it, throw it into the new Coral project, and see if we can get it working. That'd be that'd be awesome.
That would help.
Co-op, yes. Co-op with UE4, co-op is going to be a thing, and it's awesome because we already have other non-playable characters syncing over the network. It's perfect.
No Halo 1 status here, man. We got everything working.
I mean, yeah, like literally, once we get our new AI system hooked up, we just have to get that stuff replicated. But I won't speak too much about the AI and all the other stuff that we're working on. Just know that right now we have working vehicles, working like weapons, characters, all that stuff, and they all sync over the network. We have a working Slayer mode, a working Capture the Flag mode. Those were more just like, let's get those built so we can, have something to test, so our testers can eventually play this version. And
in a way,
give us some
the
feedback.
Coral we're at now was kind of a whole new fresh start. And because of that, like, we're starting with multiplayer instead of starting with single player, which is what we're doing before. And it's going a lot smoother. Like he said, we got all the stuff already there. We just got to tweak some things to make it feel smooth. But yeah, we're at a point where we can start finally really showcasing some cool stuff coming around.
So Ezra also says, so something that has always confused him or them is that if there is co-op, what's stopping you from making a low quality CE style multiplayer that's just co-op with respawning in a small arena? We have more than that. Like, our multiplayer right now is a fully playable match of Slayer, Team Slayer, CTF. Like, it all works. It even has working bots. Also, dogs are barking. Sorry if y'all hear that in the background. But yes. We already have that, and co-op is just a matter of getting the respawning and all that other stuff, just working, but like next to a player instead of at a spawn point. So the multiplayer is actually more complete in terms of in-game functionality, and in one of our next update videos, we will show off some gameplay of that. Yes. Okay. So originally we were going to cut multiplayer all together and do firefight in campaign, but we found that with our UE4 stuff, it made sense. It made more sense to do it than not to do it.
Exactly.
Especially because there's a few new gameplay opportunities that we want to toy around with.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be
getting into
we'll be getting into that later with our whatchamacallit, the new update video. So with that, multiplayer will be a thing, and it's easy. It's easier than ever, and we decided why not? We should do multiplayer to some extent, and it works over Steam's networking backend. So it's just like you sign into your Steam account you load up Steam, you sign into it, it connects to Steam. You can join people's servers. All that works. Now it's just a matter of getting
clear, we don't plan to necessarily.
It's not going to be on the Steam store.
Steam,
it's not on the Steam store.
Yeah, you could use Steam's networking backend.
Yeah,
that's what we're toying with right now. So that's probably where we'll go. I mean, we'll see at the end product, but yeah, that's probably where we're going to go.
Yeah, I have a lot of things in this version that we had made. This was me making funny GIFs for trying to remember. This was when I was messing around with this version of the game, and I ended up making a. Where is it? Somewhere I have a version of this of Coral Unity here, but it has the coffin dance meme, and it's an Xbox 360 with the red ring of death that they're carrying around.
I don't think I've seen that. It's hilarious.
You haven't?
I don't think I've seen that.
Austin posted it.
Maybe I have seen it, I just don't remember it then.
Okay, but yeah, it's you know, it definitely is a thing that I used this version to meme a lot. There's a dancing Spartan in this version too. He was doing the default dance or whatever. This is just when we were like messing around. You know, we weren't being that serious because this was the only way I could get things done. Is I was like, hey, big meme, and everyone's like, okay, yes, I want to work on Coral now. And yeah, so also matchmaking. We're probably not going to do matchmaking. There's no reason to, especially with a low population. Matchmaking scales perfectly. It scales like the more people you have, the better your matchmaking experience is going to be. So if you have 45 people playing Coral, it's going to be like Halo 3 right now if you were to play on the Xbox 360. You're going to be sitting there for 10 years snoring because you're just, can't find a match. And that's not the fault of the game. I mean, it's not a fault of players either. It's more just the fact that if we were to implement matchmaking, it would either be, it wouldn't work. There's just simply not enough people. So people being able to host their own servers is going to be awesome because they can just host their own server real quick and anyone can hop in. You could have 24/7 servers. Think of like Battlefield on PC almost. Kind of that server setup. But you get to run your own servers. And you ask if is this the 2020 version? No, this is not. This is 2018 that you're seeing right here. This was before Christmas of 2018 because that's when we started Coral Rework. I'll start showing off some old Coral Rework stuff. Yeah, actually, let me do that right now. Let me pull up Coral Rework. I'm not going to pull up the newest version. I'm going to pull up some screenshots first because I'll just pull up one of the old builds. And yeah. Is there a game mode where a team plays as the Covenant and one plays as a Spartan like Doom Eternal Battle mode? More information on that later. On that later. Just wait for the next update video. You're going to like it. If that's your kind of thing, if Spartans versus Elites and different playable characters are your thing, you're going to like. You're gonna like it. So, let me pull up Coral Rework real quickly. I'm gonna pull a really old version out.
You might have. There are a few different builds floating around.
AS was here back in 2018. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, you have tested this exact one. Oh, I almost double-clicked on the Android version. We actually had an Android version that I had built, and it ran at 1440p at 30 FPS on a phone.
That's crazy.
So, like...
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I'm still not opposed to trying to make mobile an option, but I think with our current plans as far as quality, I don't think it'll happen.
It's not going to work. So, this is a very early test. We had a completely new player controller, so you can see when I walk around, you can jump. Crouching, we did crouching from the ground up. So, yeah. Playable. Which one was faked? You said you thought it was faked. There's I showed off a lot of things.
If you're I think IO1 did an April Fool's that was on mobile.
Or are you talking about
so
the
maybe that's what you're thinking of? I don't think we talked about. Did we talk about the mobile version?
No. Yes, the Android version. Yes, that is real. And I had it and it worked okay. And but no, it wasn't faked at all. So what you're seeing here is an early version where we were testing the crouching and stuff. We actually got crouch jumping working, so you can see that. That was one of the biggest things that we wanted to make sure that you could crouch jump and stuff. Also, yes, our last video was a long time ago. We had a lot of back-end stuff that we were working on for the past 10 months. And a lot of production stuff nowadays, but mostly it was just back in like getting the team organized and getting communication systems set up and all that, and it was a lot of work. But like, I think we're at a point now that
I
like,
wanna preface something. It may seem like that shouldn't have taken how long it did. Part of the reason it did is because we had to not only figure it out from the ground up, but we had to balance it with our normal lives. Because remember, this is a fan project, so how much time we can dedicate a day could be anything from 0 to the whole day. Who knows? It depends on how busy we are. So we can't always just get everything running as smoothly. And then, of course, we also have to deal with different time zones and other things too when it comes to getting things moving in the project. So I just want to make sure that if anybody has that question or like, why haven't you gotten any further on that? That's why. It's because there's a lot. There's a lot to balance, a lot to figure out on top of balancing with our time.
yeah. So it's not easy, and I know that's probably an understatement, and I know you all understand it's not easy, but like, we had stuff we were going to show off too, and then we were like, okay, well, you know, we don't have the time to get an update video together, because you have to realize these update videos, I mean, Austin's awesome. We can give him the content and he can make an update video, but you also have to realize that, you know, all of us, including Austin, have a lot of stuff that we are working on outside of Coral, and so it's like getting all of us coordinated enough to make a whole update video was a lot of work. But that's the thing. It's going to be like, especially now that we have our system set up, all of the art, all of like the code stuff that we want to show off, we can do that now. You know, we're working on Rising Phoenix at the moment, and because of that, you know, it's kind of setting a new standard, or setting a bar, I guess, for, you know, what we're going to do for update videos. And that's the reason why it's been taking so long, is aside from all the personal things between both me and Yesful, like I moved and, you know, stuff like that. Besides that, like, it's mostly, you know, been just the fact that we're not happy with how things turned out. We originally did green screen, you know, for what we were actually doing now. We wanted to do a YouTube video version of this instead of a stream, but I realized this is probably better to do it in a stream format, because if we do it in a stream, then now y'all can interact, you know, we can show it off and talk about it live. And having a long history video, no one's going to want to watch that, you know? It's going to be the boring part of the 3-part series, you know, that everyone's going to be like, all right, well, you know, yeah, they show off some old content or whatever, but like, you know, it's whatever. So we wanted to show it off live and get everyone's reactions and show people what they want to see. That's why we're here right now. But yes, we are planning on doing update videos after. They're probably going to be bi-monthly, mostly because both content to show off and because it's a lot of work to get those up and together. So we'll see. Bi-monthly at the most. Monthly, possibly we could do that. So yeah. Also,
we're getting a pipeline for that. So
yes. Also, there was always going to be customization, so you're in luck.
Yes.
So what you saw there was, you know, an old version that was just basic walking. That was our baby steps right there. I got to load up this other version of Coral. This one's dated January 2020, so this was after a lot of work was done. And this is going to be when we started to get actual gameplay within that version.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see here, I'm loading this up. So this was our very early firefight test. And
gosh, it's weird looking at that image now, because there's something else that kind of changed. Was when we initially did this, we were still kind of like evolving our art style, but not art style, but like certain things. So you see the burning forest in the background, and like, oh yeah, this level.
yes.
And one of the big things that's different now is like Coral has its own look. Like, we're no longer just which you'll see in the update video. I don't think we're planning on going over that here.
What was it?
What was that when you looked down?
Hmm?
Oh, this looked weird. Anyway.
Yeah. So I'm just killing them and showing this off.
Yeah.
The broken ragdolls.
So yeah. I lost I got distracted on something on when you were whatever you were doing distracted me. Oh.
But yeah, this is just very basic. This is the Coral rework. This is kind of how it went.
Yeah.
This was before we had time during like lockdown and stuff. So like you can see a lot of features. Like right now my mouse is kind of like wobbly and gross. And, like there was a lot of, it was very unpolished. If I load, whatchamacallit, let me go to the menu. Oh god, that sound, that voice. This was when we started to actually come together in our like starting to make levels, starting to do all that other stuff. Getting a game together.
This is all still really early, so a lot, like pretty much most of this is either still just a blockout or is been replaced still. Even here, what you're seeing, because yeah, like this is when we first were starting to get this is the point where we're slowly starting to get our crap together, and we've been just continuing to get it more together. But again, like we gotta take that hiatus. Hey, look, there's a sniper rifle again. It's still here because I haven't made the next one. I have two things that I need to make for Coral, and that's the Magnum and the sniper. And I haven't done either one of them.
One thing that I want to point out about this version is while it does have a working game and you can play Firefight or whatever, one thing is that look how inconsistent the art is. The art is very inconsistent in this version. And that's because this was before we had we had a quality standard, but like we also, it was a mix of, we didn't have a lot of artists to work on remaking a lot of pieces of art, and also we just didn't have as much of a quality, like our bar was more vague. Right now we have a consistent bar of a standard, and it's just a matter of getting us to why is my brain forgetting words? But,
there's a lot we have to get kind of done, and so that's been one of the biggest things, because like for me there's two things that I want to see happen when it comes to Coral, and that's consistency, and of course I want to get our communication up, which is what we've been working on. Because once it's consistent, everything can feel like a cohesive game, where when you see something, it doesn't feel like it was made, like this was made by this artist and this was made by this artist, because then it doesn't feel like it's all cohesive and part of the universe, right? In this case, you can see how we have these different pieces. Now, with our art, a lot of these pieces are still there, but they're all temporary. They're not. If they show up anywhere, they are going to be replaced.
Exactly.
If they aren't already, because we have a whole new standard. We have a bigger team. We have a lot of stuff now. So like things are going to, like, we're gonna, like, these next few months, when you start seeing stuff come out of Coral, it's gonna be crazy. Once we start getting that ball rolling, once that ball rolls, it'll be pretty crazy.
Yeah. So here's a version that kind of shows off exactly what we had around. This was March of 2019. So this is kind of probably a better fitting one to show off at the moment, as opposed to that last one that I was showing off, where that was a little bit later. This shows kind of the systems that we were working on, if it will ever. There we go. So you can see, like, it's very basic, but we started getting weapons working. The Discord icon is because we have the rich presence thing in there, and then we don't have a shotgun icon, or we didn't have a shotgun icon at the time, so it was just, we used the Discord icon that was already in the game files due to rich presence being there as the Discord, or as the shotgun icon. Just a little meme or whatever.
Yeah, quote unquote working firefight, alright? Look, the enemies are there, you can shoot them and they come in waves, okay?
Yeah, I mean, it has a start and an end.
It's technically firefight.
Yes.
But, yeah.
Oh, that's loud. I'll turn that down. But you can see, like, we had working, like, you can see the muzzle flash and, like, all the effects and stuff, things that we never had before. You know, it was really clean. a lot of this code was really clean. Like you can see the sniper rifle shader.
Keep in mind, this was all a test. This is all a test level, so that's why you don't see things like hands and whatever.
Yeah.
Because this was testing certain parameters. Like you notice how the blocks were changing, and like I think he put a barrier around the level that you can't see, and there was just some other things that he was just playing around with and testing and getting working. And that's why this looks very bare bones, but cleaner at the same time.
You can see here's our debug mode. You can see the like all the map barriers. I can turn off or on VSync, turning on and off post processing modes. No clip. Like this is when we started to get things together. Like the game was starting to come together because we had a lot of features that like this was all built from the ground up. And Ron asks, how did you learn how to do all this coding and working with software? So Wesley's been working on code. He's the one who did a lot of this stuff, but he's been working on code since he was like 9. He started with JavaScript and moved on to a lot of other languages and just exploring in general. He's very, very smart. And so, that's why I kind of gave him the reins to work on the entirety of the code portion of Coral. And yeah, it actually turned out pretty well once we, had all this being built and everything. But for him, it was basically JavaScript. I started learning real programming working on Supernova, and it was in C#. So it was. I don't really. I recommend C# as a language. I don't recommend working in Unity if you're going to be like if you want to build a serious game like a game like Coral.
Yeah. And I know Unity's had a few updates, so maybe it's better now.
I've tested it lately, and it's okay, and they have had some improvements. Like I don't think you need to do what we did and write a whole new player controller because the walking up walls bug or whatever. Yeah. But like at the same time, I still wouldn't recommend it as an ultimate game development platform.
Easy to jump into, but once you start doing more advanced things, you start to run into a lot of walls. Where Unreal's kind of the opposite. It's a little bit hard to get into, but once you get going, it's a lot easier to deal with in the long run. Because a lot of things just work, or there's and now one of the big problems way back when we were even working on this stuff was there wasn't as much of a push for like helpful, like let's say videos or support material and stuff like that was like easy to digest and learn for like anybody. Where now, if you go search things up on YouTube or you go look in their store, you can find like plugins and kits and YouTube videos and just documentation, whatever things that make
support
your
for
life
the engine
much easier.
Now.
Yeah. So that stuff wasn't there. That is there now, or it was very hard to find back then. So that's all available to us, which has also really helped too.
So I'm loading up the final version of Coral in Coral Rework. So this is a build we actually released a few days ago. To the public, actually. Long story short, some dude decided, hey, I'm going to leak Coral. I said, no, I'm going to leak it first. We've already switched to UE4, so I kind of didn't care, and I wanted people to kind of just see what we had. So if y'all are interested in looking at that, I might actually throw it into like a full channel in the Coral public server. But this build has networking in it. This was when we started to get serious about working on networking. So what you're seeing right now on screen is the server program. This is something that Wesley wrote from scratch. He used Google Protobuf as a thing. So this is a full, server. Now, it doesn't really have many features, but what it does have is actually decent. So you can see, you go to the menu, you can set your name, you can set a color. It's a hue slider that doesn't have any, it's represented by a number. Don't worry about it. But you can load up servers here, or you can load up, any map here, use a server IP. There's Firefight.
Was that the most, I forgot, does this have the most updated version of Cathedral?
No, it doesn't. And yes, someone did leak a tester build. It was older than this, and I said, well, if someone's gonna, say, hey, this is what they have in Unity, I might as well show the latest version. I might as well leak the latest version. I don't really care at this point. I wanted people to see what we have, and that's why I'm showing it off. So, This build is available right now if you want to mess with the really old version.
Yeah.
Yeah, this music's good.
I can't hear it. But that's okay.
Well, you gotta listen to the stream. But yeah, like, it's the choral theme. We have there's a few other songs I threw in here on the menu. But if you want to see, like, if I click skyscraper, you can see here's the new assault rifle, and it's basically the same game for the most part. But there was some fixed features. We implemented, projectile weapons. We implemented, like, there was a lot of stuff that we fixed up in this version of the game. I'm just gonna no clip real quickly. Proper lighting. That was a thing that was kind of broken for the longest time within our game. You can see, like, all the post-processing and stuff looks really nice. That was me disabling and re-enabling it. Started implementing some other weapons. More projectiles. You have a needler. That was a hold-in-place model borrowed from the Downfall team. Yeah, this version of the game became pretty popular after people started getting, to play it and stuff. And this was kind of as far as we ever got. But if y'all want to actually play this version, if you're in the Coral Discord server, which I can link it in chat real quick, if you go to voice text, which I'll post it in general, actually. I don't think it's appropriate sending in voice text.
Yeah.
Let me go to voice text real quickly, or wherever it's called, voice chat. We'll do that. Yeah, voice text, and then pinned in there. I'll throw it into general, or Coral Talk might work. Yeah.
Yeah.
If y'all want to play this old version, there you go. I even linked the IP address that I'm on right now, so it'd be cool. Show off some networking if anyone wants to hop in. But yeah, this was Coral. We had our full, like, we wrote our own system, so you can see, like, all of our commands and stuff. This isn't just a super simple system. This was a lot of, like, very how do I explain it? It wasn't over-engineered. It was just, it took a lot of work because we wanted to do it right. It's actually based off of Source Engine's console system. Not like copy-paste, but like we figured out kind of the idea of what they did. And yeah, so we had skulls. So if you do list real quick, let me do list _ skulls.
Thanks, Mixer.
Yes, Mixer, thank you. Actually, let me clear it real quick. List skulls. So you can see there, I can activate, like, moonwalk, for instance. And now you're, like, jumping like you're on the moon. You can see, like, it's low gravity.
The best part about this one is if you join on a different map, you'll move like you're on that map, even though you'll still show up on each other's game.
Yeah, we didn't have map switching set up, so yeah, if you want to try a map, y'all are gonna have to say, I want to be on this map. So it's, yeah. Explosive rounds. I mean, we had some kind of mean ones too. This is in Unity. This was before we switched over to UE4. Yeah. So this is the farthest we ever got in Unity. And this is one of the reasons why we switched over to UE4 was once we started dealing with our networking, we realized, hey, this is not going to work out because it's very, very jank. If y'all want to see, if someone will join real quickly, I posted the build in Coral Talk in the Discord server, and even posted the IP there. If you want to join real quick, you'll see how janky the networking is. You don't get to see what other people are holding. You don't see anything it's really odd, I guess, to say the least. We basically hit our limits. Unreal Engine was basically, we saw the amount of progress that you were able to make in terms of, like, networking and AI, and there was so many features that we were having to write ourselves, and any little change to the engine within Unity just absolutely broke everything. Why is the pause menu not working? Oh, because of the freaking player controller. Like, it was just, it made no sense, and there was just so many. It was a headache, and Wes left the project, and we were just kind of we kind of said, all right, let's work on UE4, and we're gonna move on from Unity. This is the latest and the last Unity build ever made, and Coral's better off in Unreal Engine. It looks better than this, you know. It's just overall a better product than this will ever be, and that's kind of my reasoning, I guess. So yeah,
here I can jump in if you wanna.
Sure, jumping on Cathedral.
Whoop some ass.
Cathedral, got it.
So you can see, you know, we still had like the gravity lifts and all that, and they work. Oh, I just forgot to disable.
I forgot. Whoops.
There we go.
I forgot how to set up. Oh, I have to click. Okay.
Yeah. By the way, if you're trying to connect, all you have to do is click the word server IP, not the actual like 127.0.0.1. That doesn't work. You have to click the actual word. But
oh my gosh, I forgot the mouse thing.
You didn't connect, by the way.
It didn't connect?
No, you didn't show up.
Okay, hold on.
But this version is when we started to like you've seen this the most, I would say, in terms of the update videos that we posted. This was the Unity version that we had, and this was before we really started diving deep into UE4's systems and everything. So, I mean, it's okay, but again, like I said, we could do a lot better, and that's what we wanted. Are you sure you joined the game? Because it...
Let me try.
Maybe.
Okay, is it showing me now?
No. Is it you don't type in a port, you just type the IP address and make sure there's no spaces either before or after.
I'll check it, but
either that or my router is now messed up and doesn't actually...
oh, I forgot it. It changes everything every time I back out. Anyway, no, I don't have any spaces or ports or anything.
1 second. Let me see if my IP address changed. No? Same one. Here, let me try connecting myself. I kind of want to show this off because I want people to see, you know, hey, we got networking working. It's awesome. So, let me type in my IP address.
Whoop some ass.
Yeah, I think it has to do with my router because it's not connecting me.
No.
So, whoops.
Well,
either way, networking does work. I promise. We had a test session. If you look in Coral Talk, I can actually pull up the image. We actually
can't wait till we get Cathedral done. This is gonna be such a cool map.
This is when we started to. So in terms of development, this is when we started to really realize and really like take advantage of our of the manpower that we have now. You know, coming up with a lot of our new ideas that we had just ideas for, but never really executed, if that makes sense.
Oh, this is the early. This is like V2 of Cathedral. Jeez,
yeah.
Okay. I'm like looking around for the drop-offs and some other things. I'm like, where the? That's right.
Yeah. So you can see here. You can see we were all together. We had a test session a few days ago. I need to figure out the. I need to figure out the server stuff, but once I get that done, if y'all join the Discord server, if that's something you're interested in playing and like, you know, messing around with, then I will definitely 100% get it set up for people to be able to join and mess around, because hey, why not? This is a piece of our history, and this is a piece of history that I want people to see and like at least understand, you know, this is this is where we come from.
Yeah.
And we have so much more to show off, and it's going to be so great showing everything to people. And I think I'm going to show a little sneak peek of something we were working on in UE4, if y'all are down for that. I'll keep the Unity version playing just for the music, because I actually wrote a whole menu music system that I ported. I think I wrote it for Downfall, and I ported over to Coral. So that's what you're seeing right here. It's like, it works a lot like the Halo menu system, where it like it has your intro track and then it chooses random tracks after the fact. It's
Is this
the old
going to be
2018
the...
build, quick testing off the NDA. I would say, if you want to post the video, I don't know. I'll talk to you about that in DMs. Depends on, yeah, just DM me. I showed a version of that too, so we'll see. Just send me the video in DMs. I'll see if it's okay. But I will pull up our UE4 stuff. Yeah, I love this background too. I actually wrote some code to do the actual camera movement. It's not actually like an animation in the system. It's literally like doing math. It's using like sine and cosine on the rotation quaternion. So it's a dynamic thing. It doesn't, you know, it's not just an animation I made. So that's what, it's so weird that it looks so good and like correct almost. But yeah, I wrote that system myself as well.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know that you did that actually, or if I did, I don't remember.
There's a lot of systems that I wrote that I worked on a lot of systems in rework, especially near the very end of it. This rotation system was used for a few different things. I used it to showcase like the energy sword and the new assault rifle at one point. I used it for this. There was a few other small things that use this rotation. Like when you load into Firefight, you see your camera rotating on some maps. So because of that, like there's that as well. And I wrote a whole game mode system from scratch as well. So that's why Slayer and Firefight are working. I had a campaign game mode, but it didn't really do anything because there wasn't really any levels. And all the levels that we had already made, they didn't... they just weren't part of the story, so it made no sense to bring them over.
So you're asking if there's going to be mod support?
I mean,
we'll see about trying to make maybe some form of dedicated tools, but since it's Unreal,
it's not official.
It's going to be pretty easy. Yeah, it's going to be pretty easy to mod. We're not going to stop people from modding it as long as it's like...
As long as you're not cheating in the multiplayer. But
yeah.
the thing is, like, we can't officially support mods without Microsoft saying, hey, you need to moderate all of your mod content. Yeah. And so if someone tries to port the Halo 3 assault rifle over, like, we can just say, like, listen, like, I don't want people doing that because I don't want Microsoft coming after us saying, hey, you're allowing people to do this or you're supporting this, you know, as a feature. But if y'all do it, like, we can't really stop anyone from doing it. Just like, you know, Microsoft can't stop people from pirating the game aside from taking legal action, I guess. But I'm not gonna officially support modding, but it's not gonna be impossible, and I'm not gonna, like, unless it's RIP content, I'm not going to, like, you know, go after people for doing some simple mods, like, whatever, you know. It's a fan game.
Yeah.
So, yes, well, should I show them? Should I show them a peek of our scene?
Look, it's still early in development.
I know, just like everything else I showed off.
Fine.
All right, y'all ready? You want to see a beach scene? Y'all want to see Coral's Beach? Because I got it right here, and it looks so beautiful. Oh my god. Oh, here it is, y'all. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the trees and the lighting. This is why we moved over to UE4.
I forgot that I actually got the freaking subsurface scattering working.
Look at
it was so annoying to figure out.
Trees and like the lighting.
There's still some work to do on it, but as you can see here, you can see not only we're getting the lighting better, we got a whole better scene. We're kind of playing around with some of these trees. Yeah, the FPS kind of dropped a bit. That's because he's running multiple versions of the game right now.
I'm running the game in the background. I'm running the Unity editor twice, and I'm running FL Studio and OBS and 2 versions of Visual Studio, and my web browser.
Yeah. So, if you want to know some story about those, since we have them up, so this kind of gets a little bit more into the art side of things. I kind of had a vision once we started making the swirl. Why is it swirl? The switch to Coral. I kind of had an idea for Coral, and then once I kind of became the art lead, it was like, well, here now is the time to start really working on it. So I've been working with the concept artists, and we've been designing the world of Coral. I wanted to break away from the kind of like, so ultimately we still want to pay a lot of homage to classic Bungie era Halo with a lot of our designs, but one of the areas we really wanted to be creative was the planet Coral. We wanted to have something that just felt different than just like another variant of Earth almost that you tend to see a lot in Halo, which it's not bad. I'll give them props for making earthly like pine trees look alien, but I want to do something different. So these aren't these are also to be replaced models. For the record, there's still a lot of problems with them. They're mostly placeholders to get us something going, so we can start really visualizing the scene now. But you can see for a placeholder, they are in a different class compared to our old placeholders. But yeah, so that was one of our first major concept pieces that was made by Franz, and then I made it into 3D because I love this damn tree.
So this is also a first look at this new piece of concept art that we were going to originally show off just in the video, but we can keep it in the environment video. But I'll show it off here. I just have to go find it.
Yeah.
It's under...
We'll still probably finish this scene so we can see the fully realized scene.
Yeah. I think it's in the server. I'd have to go grab it if y'all want to see the actual one.
Yeah.
Why is my brain?
And get a little bit of a sneak peek into some of the other plants because
yes,
if it's the concept I think you're going to show.
Well, no, it's gonna be the one that I built the scene off of.
Okay, yeah. Then you're going to see a few other plants in the distance and some other stuff.
This is the world of Coral right here. This is our. Yep. This is a current piece of concept art that I based the other thing off of, the one that you saw.
Yeah.
So you can definitely tell there, like, yeah, that's this and this. Like, I tried to match the concept in terms of, you know, even though we don't have all of the art yet for like those like
we're also still working on proper world generation.
Yeah.
That's been a pain in the butt. This one right here was actually done in Blender and then edited in Unreal's editor, and we got it pretty close. It's not perfect, but it still was a pain in the ass and not as clean as we want it to be.
Yeah,
so that's still one of our biggest problems. But as you can see, our levels, they don't look like Play-Doh no more.
Yeah, this is
so.
Our like levels and all that stuff, and I think UE4 is about to crash.
Probably. You're kind of pushing your machine a bit.
A little bit. The environment destructible. So the thing is with our environments, we might have destructible environments depending on what it is. UE4 supports it, and we're thinking about, especially for things like vehicles, doing a lot more advanced in terms of the destruction systems, because you can
that is something we've been talking a lot about for sure.
Yeah.
So
UE4 does just it's just eating. It's just UE4. That's 72% of 32 gigabytes, by the way.
Hey, Yeasty.
So yeah, 22. Oh, thank you, Franz. I didn't even see that you messaged.
Yeah, he's in here. Franz is the Yeasty Swede. He's the one who did the concept.
Yep, he made this. Shall I show off more?
Let's save the rest for the video.
Okay.
Because
this shows off in-game pictures that I took. So stuff like this, I took a screenshot. This was me working on the scene. I actually have a few more pictures of me just like messing around with the stuff in the scene itself.
Yeah.
Some of the trees and stuff. You know, we were getting that in.
That was our first initial import. We didn't even get specular or subsurface scattering working yet.
Yeah, so there was a lot of like progress made to get to this. Yes, I know this will kill my. Now we wait. So this is a work in progress map. You can tell by the DaVinci
Oh,
Code remake texture.
oh yeah, this is
I
the.
remade the DaVinci Code texture because I thought it was funny. So I
So
threw the one in the Illustrator and I said, yeah, let's remake it. So that's what
this is
that
the
is.
most. This is the most updated block out for Kathy or Cathedral. Sorry,
Yeah.
code name Kathy.
So you can see,
This is before we decided to be an actual Forerunner structure, so that's why it's called Cathedral, and shortened to Kathy.
yeah, this is
And
a
then
very early version of this though, because you can see like the thing doesn't go all the way up in the sky, and like there's a
yeah, there's
lot of
still a
things about this
lot that
map that
needs to be
just
done,
isn't done.
but there's a lot that we took away and added and tweaked. And it's still a work
Yeah,
in progress, so
I should throw the Forerunner material just onto this. There we go.
that looks a lot better.
So yeah, if you
Also, the lighting for some reason kind of was like really dark in this.
yeah, I'll turn off lighting. I know it's kind of hard to see, but you can see here, like, this is a newer version of Cathedral, which was in that map in the
So,
build of Coral before.
so to
So
answer your question, we are planning to try to do animals. If it ends up being too much work, they won't make it in. But we do plan to have animals, and we have some already like
concepted out.
concepted and ready to get to put in. It's just a matter of us being able to actually get a good animal system working and be happy with it. So it's not a priority, but it's something we do want to do. If they don't make it in, we'll still probably release like some type of documentation that talks about the wildlife of coral. But yeah. And yeah, this is just a rough block out again. Like, so some things, like there's a lot, almost everything here is subject to change as far as design. We're just playing around with like the shape of the level to some extent.
Yeah, I was also learning how to get the like. I know this is a terrible material, but this was me learning Quixel Mixer, so
Yeah.
pardon the dust. I actually can show off some other things that were in here. I
Well,
have
I think
the.
I think at this point we should just. I think we should save the
No,
rest
wait,
for the.
wait. No, this is something that I wouldn't show off in the video anyway.
Okay.
It's just the main menu. I wanted to show the
Oh,
Spartan.
okay. That's all you want to show.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine.
It's a very basic menu. It's not, but I want the Spartans off, and they're on the main
Yeah.
menu. So
Now,
there we
because
go.
I know Mr. Muffin's going to be annoyed if this isn't said. These are still very much so whips, work in progresses. They are just models for right now, and they're going to be detailed out, and some proportions are going to be adjusted too. Because me and him have been talking about it. There's some things he likes and doesn't like about him, and there's some things I like and he doesn't like about him. So there's a lot that's it's going to be potentially changing about him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and he
So we actually
so
had this plan for it to be like a space station, the main menu, and you can see Coral in the background. If the shaders could compile real quick, if my computer just couldn't,
yeah.
it's dying right now. My PC is just absolutely killing itself. There we go. Oh yes, low res coral.png.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Okay, so it's loading in still, but you can see. Look at that. Look at our new Spartans.
Yeah.
This is the first time that I've shown them off up close. But you can see like, I mean, look at that detail.
They are so much further along than what we had in the past.
Yeah.
So
You can see that energy sword too. That's the one that we had from 2018.
I know.
Welcome back, Ron. We're showing off some current stuff. This is our this is the energy sword and the new Spartan that we are just now showing off. So these are Spartan 3s. And yeah, I mean, look at it. These guys are pretty cool. You got that like starry background, and you got the planet of coral back there. So like when you're on the menu, right now it just shows it like this, but we want to have like a whole space station or whatever.
Yeah, we have a lot planned.
Yeah.
So,
We can toy around with making the Spartans a bit more athletic. I'm just worried about gameplay. That like I want to make sure the gameplay feels like
so we're gonna
smooth,
try to be
fluid,
a little bit more lore friendly with a lot of the stuff we're doing as far as gameplay, but we still want to take notes on like how. Let's just go back to Bungie's philosophy, right? There's a lot of things that are in lore that the Spartans can do or have or equipped that we didn't get to see in the games because they wanted to keep the gameplay a certain way. So there's going to be a lot of those elements still here, where if it's too fast, it'll become more like Quake or Unreal, where Halo always kind of sat somewhere in between, where it's a faster paced shooter than like being a normal soldier, but it's not that fast like Quake or Unreal was. So we're gonna still kind of be in that same kind of place.
If you're wondering how like high poly we model our stuff, here's a wireframe of these characters. You can see like definitely, it's not too bad, especially for a what's on, on basically close to 9th gen. And for the amount of detail that you see within the Spartans themselves, I feel like it's pretty good in terms of a balance of, poly count versus that. But that's one thing that we're actually upping is our poly count limit, because we would like people to be able to, like our artists, to be able to put a lot more real detail into our models. So, yeah, especially with UE5 around the corner, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
So
that's another thing too. We're developing. So the reason that a lot of things, despite looking good, are going to be changing is because we're developing with UE5 in mind, meaning we can go a little bit bigger than we initially projected. And again, since our team just recently grew, which we'll get into a little bit later, a little bit later, meaning a video or two from now, we're definitely able to make that goal much more of a reality. So yeah.
So yeah, that's a lot of stuff that we covered today.
That is
all of it.
Yeah. So that's where we're at now, and we're not even remotely done. Like you can see how far we've come along from the beginning to where we're at now, and there's still a lot that needs to be changed, even for the stuff now, changed, upgraded, or replaced. And even though it looks like 30 times better than what we had in like even here, and yeah. So
this version broke, if I remember correctly. You can see it says error, and I can't do anything. I can't shoot or whatever. I can't even look around.
Yeah, there's a lot less errors now.
Yeah.
So it took us a little bit getting to where we're at, but like things just don't generally break, and that's what's so nice about working. It takes a little bit more to get things started and figured out, but they don't just break on us.
And that's the thing, is that things broke all the time on this version, and I absolutely you lose all of your morale wanting to work on a game if the game's just going to be broken more times than it works. And I understand, like, that's kind of what happens sometimes in game development, is just things break and all that other stuff. Like, I get it, but like at the same time, it was to the point where like I just really, we couldn't even make a build of the game because it would crash Unity. And like I knew we were probably doing something wrong, but like still,
hey,
it just was
going
really...
for 117 minutes.
That's I'm launching this version. This is one that actually plays, and it stops responding.
Well,
I'll show a little bit of the first person stuff here, and then you say wrap it up.
Call it. Yeah.
Unless y'all want to see more, or if you have any questions you want answered.
Well, there's not a lot else to show at the moment that I can think of. I mean, like, I do want to make sure there's rooms open for any questions they might have, though.
Yeah, definitely. So you can see, like, this is where we still already had, like, creator test, whatever. So it's the same version, or close to the same version that y'all saw. Let me load this up.
Yeah, sadly there's not a lot of books around Coral, but we're definitely not ignoring them, especially when it comes to some of the tech that is showcased and talked about in the books and some of the other extended media outside the games. So that is something that we are looking into potentially bringing over into our game. By the way, how much will make it from that? I don't know. It could be nothing. It could be one thing. It could be a bunch of things. So we'll see. But we are looking into all the extended stuff and even some things that didn't even make it into the games, but are technically a part of lore and all these other things. So, yeah.
By the way, this actually had third person mode.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, that's the player model, by the way. If y'all are wondering, this is the player model. It reminds me of that one Tom and Jerry meme where Jerry gets turned in, like he's like squished into this. Yeah.
Turned into cube. Yeah.
Hold on, I want to pull this picture up real quick. 1 second. I already looked it up lately, apparently. This
could also be the Xbox One meme.
This is what it reminds me of. Supernova player, the Supernova main character.
That would actually be pretty funny, I'm not gonna lie. It just looks like you're chasing a cube.
I know, because the weapon first person camera still shows up. It doesn't disable it when you do that. But yeah, I can kind of show you. This is kind of the experience of going from small to big. So you got the small, the big there, you know. You got, I mean, and like firing and stuff works in this version. It's really old and doesn't really, like, you can see like the muzzle flash doesn't follow the weapon because we never built the game around having animations. It also has some sounds and stuff that I wish I didn't use.
That was a good one, Mixer.
Mixer said, fun fact, Coral Dev team designed the Series X excellently with modeling playable characters. Yeah, of course, Microsoft worked with us, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, look. Hey, I remember.
Yeah. Alright.
Remember this.
I do. What's wrong with his arm?
I don't know. He's supposed to be holding a AR in this. I don't know what the animation is either. It looks like he's like breathing and squatting.
It does a little bit.
It's so bad. But like, man.
we really have come a long way.
Caption this image. Thank you, Ron. Very kind of you to say, I know a lot of people that try to be so professional about their fan game development, and it's like, we're here to make a game. We're here to be fun. We're here to, everyone's here because it's a fan game. It's, games are made to have fun, and whether that fun comes from, and what I've realized is whether that fun comes from the journey of development or the final product, it's all fun, so. The Spartan was infected with COVID. Man's having a hard time breathing over there, I can tell. Also, I'm going to turn up the volume. I want y'all to hear the music. I made this track. A mask on the Spartan. Yeah, I was so proud of his music. I was like, oh my god, y'all, I can use FL Studio. And yeah, it was great. Yes, the Jerry block is awesome. I love it. It's like, that's the main character right there. Look at the face too. We need to like recreate that face right there and like make a block with arms and legs. Have that be like a secret like unlock option, which is something that we actually were trying to plan for. Where I wanted to have like a code system where you could give out codes that unlock like meme armor. So like if you like type in code muffin, it would give you a Pepe helmet. Or something like that. So the main villain of Coral.
that would actually be funny. We can have an overhaul cheat that just changes everything to a meme.
We could totally do it.
That'd be great.
I'm trying to scroll.
Bring back old classics and modern joys.
Yeah, well, we'll bring back the old memes in a new sense. Let me also show off some concept art from that we cut because I wanted to do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have
Trying to
plenty
think.
of old concepts. Where's the
Yeah, we didn't
coral
go over a
folder?
lot of the old concepts. We showed like one or two of them, but we
We
didn't go
should have
over a
we
lot
should
of
have structured this.
Yeah, well, it was kind of on the spot. When we did our initial one, we actually had a lot bigger plan for structure, but we kind of just went for this like today.
Yeah.
So
So here's a concept for the menu. You can kind of see I did the same thing.
those old buildings.
We still have
Yes,
them.
yes. I actually okay. The doors, not a fan of, but the I liked the shape of them because he went off of the what was the
Halo Wars?
I think it was a mix of like Halo Wars and then that the arcade game, right? That came out.
Fireteam Raven?
Fireteam Raven, because there was some shots when the Fireteam Raven was like still just being trailers. The game didn't
Yeah.
come out yet. You could see like some of the structures that they clearly set up that were supposed to be like short-term stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, who made this concept by the way? 'Cause I think this was before I joined in.
No, this was later of 2017. Funny thing,
Okay.
I actually showed this to Hitting Xperia once. I have a kind of a funny story behind that, but I'll explain that later. But I showed this to him. I was like, yeah, we were having a flood in our fan game. And he like sent like a ton of heart eyes or whatever. It's kind of funny. So those were some of that. This abomination. This was supposed to be a level that was planned. So like those whiteboard things that Bungie had, that's basically what that was. Some early concepts of a level that we were working on that never made it. It was supposed to be like a shopping mall. So this never made it. I don't even have the files to this. I don't think anyone
I
has the
might
files.
still have them because I worked on some of this.
This level?
I worked a little bit on it.
Huh.
I think it was. Was it Noah's brainchild?
No, it was Samir's.
Was Samir's?
Mhm.
Okay.
Here's the same like menu thing. This was this was me. I wrote this. I think it was like 2 a.m, and I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, oh my god, I know what I want to do for the Coral menu. So I took my touchscreen laptop out and made this in like Paint.net. That was what that was. We had other few cool concepts. Like this was supposed to be a Sentinel. This was dated around early 2018. So this was around like the era of Noah's story.
Yeah, that's been there for a long time.
Yeah, we had some old. We showed this off.
I always think it looks like a helmet.
Yeah, it does.
Oh yeah, well,
like Gundam.
that one right there is actually current technically.
The idea is current.
Did an updated version. It's not that drastically different from that.
Yeah.
So I guess you guys got a sneak peek at the SMG.
They already saw the SMG concept though.
Did they? Oh,
yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot it was already put on. Whatchamacallit?
Yep, NDDB.
Yeah.
I have a ton of old screenshots from the game, but I'm trying to find one specific one that I used to show off all the time. That like, I don't know if I showed it off all the time, but it's a screenshot from the Unreal version. It is probably one of the best looking screenshots in a long time. Here's one of them. It's a really low res screenshot, but this was one of the levels that we were working on. It was supposed to be like kind of a remake of Lost Platoon.
Yeah, we actually didn't. Wasn't that one the one Justin was working on?
It wasn't Justin. It was Justin's friend, Trey.
Okay, yeah, because like I remember he was working on that, and it was a really cool level, and then
we never got it.
Officially got it.
We never got this one and the other one I'm trying to look for.
Yeah.
There was two.
I wonder what happened to it because it actually looked cool.
There was this. There was this. We had those. We had. Where is it? I have it. It's on. I think it's on the NDDB. Either that or I took it off of there. Let me check real quickly. NDDB.com/game/Coral game. There we go. If you were a millionaire and had money to blow, you'd donate like 200K to us. Hey man, that would have. I don't know. I don't know if I could accept a donation, especially of that one that size. I mean, I would like to get it done, but making money off the game is also against the game content usage rules. So I don't know if a donation like that would count. I don't know. I don't know, actually. I've never accepted money, and I don't think I'm planning on accepting. Like, no, we're not going to accept money for this. You know, it's Coral. We're here to have fun, I guess. But yeah, I never really.
Doors open.
I never really thought about that. Huh.
Sorry, again, give me 1 second. Sorry, guys, I have a lot going on in my house right now, so I don't mean to be back and forth, but give me 1 second.
Oh, this. I accepted in crypto. Oh, that's great. That's true. Crypto is on the rise. So this was a scene that we had talked about for a very long time. It was supposed to be the campfire scene where one of the characters, her name's Maddie, she was supposed to tell about her past in this scene. It was supposed to be her and Juliet Seven, the playable character. And Maddie is supposed to be kind of like a crazier kind of Spartan character. You have to realize that these Spartan 3s are younger because they're like right out of training. So she's definitely in that camp of like, she doesn't know everything yet, and she's also still scarred by her childhood, and so it causes her to make a few irrational decisions. And this is supposed to be a area of big character development during this cutscene. And you can kind of just see her standing there with her pose, you know, with her her legs there and all that. And there was one where she was like holding her hands back. This was just in Blender, but you can see like that's supposed to be the pose. And it was supposed to be like this big like emotional moment within the story. Yeah, Maddie's a baddie, let me tell you. We have some extra screenshots. So this was supposed to be a base camp that we built. We were actually going to show this off in 2018 as a video. We wanted to make a Believe style trailer. If you remember that trailer from Halo 3 where it was like a lot of stills. We kind of wanted to do the same thing. And that's what this ended up being, was this camp that was supposed to be invaded by the Covenant, and it was supposed to be like a coral base or whatever, but we didn't know what the planet was going to look like or any of that other stuff. We were just like, let's throw some stuff down and make this. And that, we got so close, it just, putting all the pieces together in engine was the biggest issue. That was like what prevented us from actually getting it done. I didn't know how to use UE4 either. So, let's see. Someone asks, how long do you guys think the single player is going to be? So, we're planning on having around like 6 levels. I know that's not, a full-length campaign, like a Halo 3 length campaign or whatever. But the thing is, like, in terms of unless we have some magical thing that happens that can boost our production up to like the max, where we can just work on levels and just get content out, like it's, that, if that happens early enough where we can describe and explain and make playable areas for things that we wanted to explain in the story, but we can't really do at the moment because of just our team limitations, then I would totally be down for making a longer campaign. But yeah, I'm trying as hard as I can to at least keep like 6 levels, because if you have a game with like 3 levels, it's gonna be boring. People are gonna be like, yeah, like I just wasted my time, even if it was a good story. The people are gonna feel like they wasted their time on a game that is just like really short. I want to at least give a decent experience. So yeah. So yeah, I'm trying to find that one screenshot. It was really cool because that screenshot had it looked really complete, basically. It made the game look really complete. So I think it's under, which one was this under? Coral Old. This is under images. Have I ever heard of SPV3? Yes, I have. In fact, I actually have known Masters, the guy, the lead of the project, since, what was it, 2016? Early 2017? Something like that. But yeah, I actually matched up with him in MCC once, and I was on one of his Halo streams, and yeah, I knew about SPB3 because I had known about all the previous CMT projects. Also, hi Ellie, I see you there. Nice to see you here. But oh, I just found some old stuff. If y'all are interested in seeing it, a battle rifle that never made it, early concept. So you can see. This was something that one of the guys who's not on the team anymore, sadly, but he actually made this concept. He was like, yeah, you know, kind of going original with some of the design. And, you know, it was a pretty cool design, but I'm not the big... Like, I like our current design a little bit more than this one. And there's also a plasma rifle that goes with it as well. This was one of our plasma rifle early concepts. I think if you guys ever make a full story plus multiplayer and with only a small team, it would be really impressive since most other teams only focus on multiplayer. That's true. That's very true. Oh, we got a baddie in here. I'm very appreciative to see everyone like, saying, oh, whatever length is fine. Like that means a lot because it shows that y'all are here for, for what we are and what we're, what we're able to do, I guess. And that I love and I really appreciate that support, So, yeah, there's a lot of things that just, I guess the whole point of this stream was to show off stuff like this, where it's like, clearly this is not used anymore, but hey, we've made progress and we've learned a lot. There's actually a few things in this concept that kind of made it to even our current Spartan. It's kind of funny. And it's kind of funny because even if you look at the helmet, it's surprisingly similar to the Mark 7 they showed off, like 343. They showed off one, and it looked... Here, I'll pull it up real quickly.
Also, I am back. Hello.
Welcome back. Dude, did you know that look how close our Mark 7 is to the Mark 7 that Halo Infinite has?
Ah.
Look at that. I don't know. I find it funny because there's so many similarities in just like the design. I know there's a lot of things that are different, but like we got like the helmet design and especially the visor design very close. I mean, just in general, look at the Mark 7. I
don't know about that.
You got the line. Look, you got the lines here on the Spartan. I mean, yeah, that was kind of like that on. I mean, it depends, I guess.
No, it kind of looks completely different to me.
You think it looks completely different?
I think it looks completely different. I mean, it's still a mark whatever.
Okay,
so they're gonna look similar to each other regardless.
Maybe my vision for it when I look at the other one, like my internal vision of what I had for that, matches up a lot closer with the Halo Infinite Mark 7.
Yeah, I can see that.
There was like a grunt that we made. There's a GIF of him walking.
Yeah. I forgot about that grunt.
Yeah, there's that old grunt. I was also showing the plasma rifle that I think Ryan had told Acrylic to make. There was that one. I was showing off Devin's battle rifle. Yeah, there's a lot of old art here. Anything else? There's the old AR. That's a picture we showed off. I can't find that image of the whatchamacallit? That one level, that forest level, remember? And it had the assault rifle. Like I found the campfire scene and I found the other ones. Stuff like this.
Yeah.
Like this little icon that I made. Let me find it actually. Oh, okay. So let me see. I have to scroll through old Coral chats, but it's a really cool screenshot, and that's why I wanted to show it off. Coral Development Evolved. There's
Yeah,
so many
we're
things.
we're all familiar with like SPV3 and a lot of the projects.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
we know about or know people who do them. The Halo community is surprisingly tight, but surprisingly not at the same
Yeah, I
time.
think everyone knows about each other, but like vision is also not consistent. This isn't what I was looking for, but this is also another piece of really early concept art that I wanted to show off.
Oh yeah,
This was supposed to be the library of Beta Halo,
yeah.
and you got the Spartan there, just looking down at that. There was also some redesigned Prometheans that we were thinking about implementing.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember this?
Oh, now I see that one. That kind of, I guess I blocked it from my memory.
See, we went through a lot of changes.
Yeah, yeah. I remember when we were talking about that because we were talking about how like we didn't like the way 343 did it. And we wanted to make something that felt a little bit more like to the classic style, which is why it's got more sharp, angular, forerunner designs to it.
Yeah.
Um, so
We also had this.
who did these concept arts? Because
Austin.
these were done before I
Current,
came in.
not our current Austin. No, this one was made September 2017.
Yeah.
So that was after you
'Cause
joined.
was it okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because honestly, if he or she's gotten any better, um, I would not mind having them do some more concepts for us because they're good at getting like, I mean, uh, they're a little crude, but the visual set piece is there if that makes sense.
Yeah. This was a little
So
thing I was experimenting with. The pelican flying down. That's a little gif of it. I'm looking for more stuff. We have plenty of like old game design documents and stuff that like I'm sure people wouldn't want to.
yeah, we don't need to get into all the technical stuff and
Yeah, I mean unless you
that's
really want to. I
no
thought this
no.
was amazing
I
back in the
I
day. I thought this was
I've,
amazing.
that even looks more like the meme, dude. That was great. I love it.
I also had like if I can find it. I have a picture of
These
or a GIF.
Roblox games are good. I love it.
Yeah.
Makes her pulling out the jokes.
I found it. I found the screenshot. This.
Oh yeah. And that's from that same guy, right?
Yeah.
I
We
wish
never got
that.
those.
Cause like that looks so close to like what we're trying to achieve, like right now.
Yeah, if we had this, we could like totally make it like a whatchamacallit.
Like,
Use it as part of the playable thing. Dude, look at that grenade up in the top left. We had like a vortex grenade plan.
did we?
Yeah, see?
Why?
I know we did because I thought it was cool. I liked it. I liked the idea. I mean, look at it. It's a pretty nice. I thought it was a pretty cool like thing. I think the HUD is just overlaid though. I don't think it's actually like rendering in game, if I remember correctly.
I'm not sure in this. I don't remember.
Because I sent him. Here's the exact image of the HUD.
So he might have just taken it and plopped it on.
Yeah. But that was like, that was one of the best looking images of the game in a really long time.
Yeah.
That was for our 2018.
I mean,
our
you
June,
slap
or E3
slap
showcase.
one of our current kind of weapons on there, and you could say it was what we had now. I really wouldn't mind getting this level back, even if it's just a playtest level, or getting it in the first place. We never got it back then.
Yeah, that's true.
But
man, I'm just looking back. Like I'm looking at all the gameplay of all the ways that people broke the game. Funny thing, AS in the chat actually is the one who took the screenshot. If you see. So, yeah, there's, man, it's, yeah. We had a lot of things that we worked on and planned. Here's one of the elite models that we had. We're completely redoing it.
yeah, The big toes. The big toes. The thick calves.
Come on, open up. There we go. I made like if I got doors working and stuff in the old version.
Ooh,
You know.
working doors.
Oh wow. No, it's just that it did. You know. Oh, that's an old builds thing, an old like marine lines, and I'm just looking through and
Yeah.
looking back at a lot of this stuff that we have and just kind of throwing it out as it is, letting you all take a look at it. Had a lot of story conversation. I mean, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Legit. Like, let me show you real quick. I'm gonna pull this up on a stream, actually. One moment. Let me do that. I'm gonna pull up the Coral Dev server on stream, and you can see legit